All right. Please, we're up and running. Yes, sir.
It is 10:27, Monday, the 8th day of August, 2022. I make a motion that the regular meeting of the Navarro County Commissioners Court come to order.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are in session. I'd ask everyone to please stand now for opening prayer, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day and the many blessings you give to each and every one of us. We ask your wisdom, your guidance, your hand on our shoulders as we make decisions today regarding our county. Father, we ask you forgive us for the ways that we may have failed you. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. All right. Sign that. Mr. Capehart.
Judge Davenport, Commissioners, my name is Ron Capehart. I'm with Linebarger, the delinquent tax collection attorneys for the county. And today is one of the favorite parts of my job. Due to success at one of our recent tax sales, we had taken some old struck off properties that had been off the rolls. We had re-offered them up at a tax sale, and these 5 properties not only sold, but sold for enough to pay all of the back taxes, as well as give the county and the other entities some excess proceeds, which is something that we almost never see with struck off properties. We're usually everybody's taking a haircut. Today, we've got excess proceeds on 5 properties. So I'm here to present a check for $10,568.24 in excess proceeds, free money for the county over and above the taxes that were collected.
Good deal. Thank you, sir. Now, we would have to have an agenda item for us to accept this officially, correct? So we can't really do anything with it until next go around.
We will, though.
You can hold it.
You can hold it in your hand.
If you don't want it, you can send it back.
Here, let me take care of it, okay? All righty. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. If you need to leave, or you're welcome to go, or you're welcome to stay, whatever you'd like to do, okay? All right, we'll go on to our consent agenda, items 5 through 11, correct? Lots of stuff here. We can remove and or have a discussion over any of these items if we need to. No one sees a need to do that, then I'd ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole.
And I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as a whole.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And we are. All right, we'll go on now to our regular agenda. Item 12 is consideration of burn ban. Burn ban still on. Mr. Rachel called in on a fire this morning on his way into town. Whereabouts was that?
It's 5,000 block of 416.
So just can't really say enough about, why things burn. But if it's someone out there pitching cigarettes out the window, matches out the window, or whatever, I guarantee you they're going to be prosecuted if we catch them. It won't be funny to them when that happens. But it is still on, and I had someone the other day ask me when we're going to take it off, and I said it's going to have to rain substantially for us to take it off because of the fuel that's out there. I mean, it'd have to be wet for a long time. Most of the fuel on my pasture is laying flat against the ground. Cows are
My
still.
cows ate all my fuel.
They ate all your fuel. Well, mine haven't started eating off the ground that way. They're still pulling stuff up or biting it off, but
Well, and if it ever rains too long, it's gonna be all mud.
yeah.
Fire apparatuses cannot get to it.
That's right. That's right. So we'll still have to have it on.
So the big rain up will have to happen.
So no action on that, gentlemen, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
13 is Texas Historical Commission, THC honors the Navarro County Historical Commission with a Distinguished Service Award for 2021.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'd like to make a few remarks if I could. You may
Sure. No, you're
stand,
fine.
I can stand here, but I'm gonna have my back to all these people that are important to me.
Well,
How about if I go right over here?
Wherever you're
Good
comfortable.
morning. I'm Mary Jane McReynolds, and I'm the chair of the Navarro County Historical Commission. And our mission and our goal overall is to promote, protect, preserve the historic resources of our county. And we take this charge very seriously. And we work hard for it. And we're pleased today that we were awarded the 2021 Distinguished Service Award from the Texas Historical Commission in acknowledgement of our efforts and accomplishments that demonstrate our well-rounded history and preservation programs. You got to remember, calendar year 2021, we were still kind of impacted by COVID. And so that put some limitations on us, but we really tried to reach out to history-focused organizations in our county to see what activities could we participate in. We continued to hold our regular meetings. And I just wanted to list briefly some of the projects that we did participate in that we completed. And Judge Davenport, you and the commissioners have a copy of these brief summary remarks. We collaborated with the Kearns Veterans Military Museum, which is an outstanding tribute to the military past and present. We collaborated with the Frost Heritage Center and the city of Frost. They have an amazing collection of photos from when the whole Frost region was first settled, which is noteworthy. We collaborated with the Pelham Community History Museum, and this museum is just a gem in the county because it contains artifacts and archives of the time when freedmen first settled in this part of the county, just right after the Civil War. We also collaborated with the G.W. Jackson Multicultural Society and helped raise funds for G.W. Jackson Legacy Park, which is to honor this pioneering educator and civic leader who served as the founding principal of Fred Douglass High School here in Corsicana, later renamed G.W. Jackson High School in his honor. And we also collaborated with the city of Corsicana and Pioneer Village and the Historical Society on the reconstruction of an 1800s windmill, which will educate others about how did early settlers and pioneers obtain water in the county. We also made a concerted effort to, because of the pandemic, enhance our online presence. And we really worked to enhance our Facebook page. And one of the things we added in 2021 and in this year, we also began to add something called Navarro County History Minutes, which are podcasts. They're just brief video presentations about specific events and moments in history. And I encourage you to look at Facebook. I'm sure all of you look at Facebook, right? You all have Facebook pages. And because we're continuing to add topics and add podcasts on the Navarro County History Minutes. We also have monitored the physical condition of our historical markers, of our historic cemeteries. And we do what we can to work with the Main Street program in Corsicana to sustain heritage tourism initiatives. We also routinely meet with or communicate with citizens regarding a variety of history and preservation topics, such as the historical markers or the historic Texas cemetery designation. And finally, I just want to make sure that everybody here knows that we wouldn't have been able to do any of this if it wasn't for Judge Davenport and our commissioners. They just unfailingly support what we do and support historic preservation. And we're so lucky to have a supportive commissioners court. And so we'd like to make sure that all of you know that we share this award with you. So thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Today, we have all but two of our historical commission members here. If everybody will come forward so we can do the presentation. We have Margaret Thomas, we have Faith Boyd, we have Sheriff Les Cotton, Preston Bonner, we have Cheryl Hicks, and we have Kit Harrington. Did I get everybody? Bruce McManus and Stephen Ferris were not able to join us today. So we're almost all here.
And lo and
Okay.
behold, we don't have anybody from the newspaper here.
Well, Kim said she would come in and take a picture for us. Is that acceptable to you? Judge Davenport?
Absolutely. Yeah, whoever. Kim can come
No,
take.
one of the other projects we did, and each of you have a report and have this, we're trying to reach out more and more to youth about our history and to teach about Navarro County history. So this Tell Your Story is something geared toward youth to say, do a family genealogy, go interview your grandfather or your grandmother or your uncle. And, tell your story about what the history of your family is. And so I gave all of you an example of this little booklet that we created as part of our youth outreach. So, okay, everybody want to come on up? And can we just get behind you?
I
Is
think
that
that'd be the
acceptable?
best.
And
Everybody
you
could
guys
file
can
behind
sit?
us. Right.
Okay.
I just wish I was as interested. I wish I was as interested.
Yes.
I'm gonna get that. All right. She's over there, Jane. We heard her in here. She's in the middle of it. We get everybody.
Next to the judge.
Yeah, they come around this way.
Okay, but now can you see everybody?
Everybody.
Can we get all the commissioners?
All in there.
Good.
Take
We'll find you one.
take two or three.
I did. There you
All
go.
right, good to go. All right.
Thank you so
Y'all
much.
should have
Yes,
two
ma'am.
pictures.
And have you met
That way, if anybody was
our
blinking, you
newest
might
member?
catch
I did meet her.
Cheryl Porter Hicks?
Sure.
Nice to meet you.
You reporter, you're from that side of, yep, Bellum
The
area.
good side of
Been
the
over
county.
there. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Nice to meet
Good to meet you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Resting up. I'll put it
All
that
right.
way. Okay, y'all can go if you want to. Those of you who are just here for that. You don't have to, but you're welcome to stay if you want to stay. Okay? Good to see you, Kit. All right.
I know.
Put glasses somewhere. There they are. Okay, that was that. Number 14 is consideration of approving a proclamation to declare the month of September as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. You guys all go and have tests done, don't you? Have that blood test and everything to make sure everything's clicking right. I do every year at least. And I think it's extremely important that we need
What,
to.
did y'all take it? Did y'all accept the
Oh,
number 13?
That's
Did you
what I was
accept the-
wondering.
well, I guess, yeah.
We have to move on that.
Well, this is not a consideration. But I think, yeah, let's
Well,
do it.
since
Just-
she's asking, I'll make a motion, we
Thank
approve the Texas Historical Commission as a Distinguished Service Award for 2021.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, consideration of approving proclamation to declare the month of September Prostate Awareness Month. Let me read through this. Whereas the prostate cancer constitutes 20% of all male cancers diagnosis plural, and 10% of all male cancer deaths. Whereas in Texas, an estimated 17,850 new cases of prostate cancer and an estimated 2,260 deaths will occur in 2022. 22. Whereas men of African ancestry, men with a family history of prostate cancer, firefighters, and men exposed to Agent Orange are at high risk. And whereas the prostate cancer is the second most commonly diagnosed cancer in American men, only behind skin cancer, and second leading cause of cancer deaths in men behind lung cancer. And whereas this year, approximately 268,490 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in the United States. That's one man every 1.9 minutes, and roughly 34,500 will die this year from the cancer of the disease, which is one man in every 15.2 minutes. Pretty awesome. Whereas 1 in 8 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime, men of African ancestry are at the highest risk for the disease with a rate of 1 in 6 men. They are also 2.1 times more likely to die from the disease. Whereas prostate cancer not only affects men, but also affects their families and friends. And whereas education regarding prostate cancer and early detection strategies are critical to saving lives, preserving and protecting our families. And whereas all men are at risk for prostate cancer, the citizens of Navarro County are encouraged to increase their personal awareness of prostate cancer and the importance of prostate cancer screenings. Therefore, I, H.M. Davenport, Navarro County Judge, do hereby proclaim the month of September of 2022 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in Navarro County, 8th day of August. Michelle signing this. Anybody wants to make a motion on this, you may do so. I will let you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the proclamation to declare the month of September Prostate Cancer Awareness Month.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is consideration of approving tax collection report for July 2022. Mr. Dowd was going to be here, but he is sick today.
Compared from July of 2022 to July of 2021, it was a little bit low on the percent. We're at 97.24, and that's $41,453.91 less than last year. But the overall year to date is still a substantial amount of money more that we collected.
Okay. Any questions on that, gentlemen? If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve, please.
I move that we approve the tax collection report for July 2022 from Mike Bell.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Jackie.
See y'all later.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Number 16 is consideration of approving 2023 sheriff and constable fees as authorized by the Texas Local Government Code, section 118.131. Who's doing that? Y'all doing that? Anybody doing that? Do I hear anybody wanting to do it?
I think the numbers have been presented, and the fees are same for the sheriff's office as they are for constables, and we ask.
Were there changes from what they were?
I would have to go back and look at, I'm not sure who got that.
I don't know. I'm not by this. I can't tell.
Okay.
I thought the writs were 150, here to 200.
Yeah, I think there was an increase.
Okay.
But these, I will tell you that there's several areas that are charging far more than we are for the civil process.
I'll make a motion, we approve the 2023 sheriff and constable fees as authorized by the Texas government or local government code, section 118.131.
I know some of
Motion made by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 17 is consideration of approving a final replat of the plantation Phase 1 lots 5R-1 and 5R-2 for Abel, maybe Able Espinoza.
Morning, Jim.
Morning.
Part is being part of the existing subdivision of plantation phase 1, originally track 5. And Mr. Espinoza would like to create a 2-acre tract out of that original 10-acre tract. It's actually for family members. It's going to be road frontage. It'll have in excess of the 100 feet minimum requirement. It's in precinct 1, and he's asking for approval.
Any questions or discussion, gentlemen? Now I'd ask for a motion on this, please.
I make a motion that we approve the final replat of the plantation phase 1 lots 5R-1 and 5R-2 for Abel Espinoza.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Olson. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 18 is consideration of approving a final plat of Lopez Edition for Jose Lopez.
It's basically the same scenario, existing subdivision. Well, no, I apologize. This is off the Lopez. He's creating a subdivision for doing it, but it is for family. It's got 2 1-acre tracts, which are above the lower 1 acre net. It don't include the roadway there. And he's asking the commissioners to approve his subdivision, which will create actually 3 lots. The 2 1-acre tracts and the remainder of his property back, which will have 100 feet frontage.
Stanley, is that plot or plat that's there to you see the drawing?
That's
The far left, that 1 acre,
That's adjacent on.
is that one that's already been done?
It's already been.
Off of that
Yes, sir.
acreage?
It's just
Okay,
showing a track that adjoins his property.
okay.
Any other discussion on this? Thought I'd ask for a motion, please.
Yeah, that's in my area. I make a motion that we approve the final plat for Lopez Edition and Jose Lopez in precinct 4.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Grant. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I got one quick question, Stanley.
Yes, sir.
When you say the word like final replat, that means it's final. They can't come in here and divide that up anymore, right?
That's a surveyor's term.
That's what-
It doesn't mean final.
It doesn't mean final. It means that is their final decision on this creation of what they have here. It's actually a surveyor's term.
So like if Abel Espinoza was to come back in here, and wanted to do this again, would you be able to see a record immediately that he had been here, whatever, a year ago and just already done this once?
Right, yes, sir.
And so would you halt that because he would be trying to go around our policies for creating subdivision?
He would have to fit within the statute. I mean, he'd have to have 100 feet of road frontage or 3 private drive, something along that line. So, in other words, make it adhere to all the statutes. If it's not part of, they don't fit the statutes or regulations, yeah, it's.
Well, I think what he's asking you is a timeline to see if he does this once a year for the next 5 years,
Right.
breaking it up so that he don't have to go through the subdivision
That's why
fiery hoops.
That's why he's here asking y'all's approval this morning, because he has created three tracks. Once you create that 3rd track, it becomes a subdivision regardless. You know, if all of them, if any of them are 10 acres or less,
I understand.
or a road is created, then by statute, they have to plat that as a subdivision.
But I think what
And so
Jason,
by this, he just created a second or his third,
He made 3 tracks, is what he did. He had to,
over what length of time?
well, that's what he's doing right now. He's taking 1 track and creating 3 of them. So when he, in other words, that 3rd track triggered the subdivision regulations. He had
Which means y'all, then what do you do?
We ensure that it fits the subdivision regulations, in other words, all the standards.
So he has to abide by all the same rules and regulations as the subdivision that's been created has to abide by.
Right, that's what he's asking here. He's creating a subdivision.
So what is he avoiding by doing it this way rather than doing all 3 at one time? What's he getting? I guess what I'm asking is he getting around something by doing it this way?
No, he's taken his original track. He's cut 2 tracks out of it, which will create 1, 2, and the remainder is 3. That 3rd, in other words, when there's the creation of the 3rd track, that's what triggers subdivision regulations. You're asking this morning to approve this. I mean,
I'm asking you, what's the difference in doing it that way than coming here the day he buys it
Uh-huh.
and says, I'm gonna do 3 tracks?
it would still be the same scenario. I mean, as long as he's creating that 3 tracks, he's got planted as a subdivision.
Then they've got to follow our subdivision regulations.
Right, all the statutes and regulations.
So he can't come in here and put another one back there in the back with no road frontage.
No, he cannot. He cannot landlock the property. Now, he'll have to, like I say, he'll either have to cut out, if he cuts it again, the 2 other tracks, in other words, there's 3 now. If he creates another track, that's gonna make him 5 in total. All of those would have to have 100 foot of road frontage, or he would have to create a road into the remainder of the property. And any one of those things would trigger the subdivision regulations. He'd have to follow all the statutes.
And the owners are aware that they have subdivision regulations to abide by.
Yes, sir.
Your office tells them
That-
and checks them.
Yes, verbally and through the subdivision application, as you mentioned.
But the only policies they're having to abide by is their septic system and what else?
They have to provide, which he has, is letters from the utility company saying that water can be provided
Okay.
and electricity can be provided. All of those tracks have to be 1 acre net, in other words, above any easements, roadways, floodplains, anything like that. It has to be 1 acre minimum. He meets all those guidelines, and like I say, he's just asking commissioners for approval.
If he wanted to do something further back in that place where he had to create a road, he would have to run that through us. And he would have to go by our road standard.
Right, and whether he does anything else or not, if this becomes an established subdivision, he has to have y'all's approval to do anything else in the future.
I think what Commissioner Grant is asking about is when Joe Smith comes in here and has a subdivision lined out, but no deed restrictions. And we require deed restrictions now for mainly a lot of these things. But when they come in and they break it up 2 lots at a time like this,
Yeah.
over a period of a year or 2, we'd like to know how often they're doing this, because it keeps them below the deed restriction requirements while other people are having to follow it. That's our question.
I understand what you're saying. That is one, like I said, one statute that I don't agree with either is if they cut out a track, they can cut out a track every 12 months without triggering the subdivision.
Okay.
If it has 100 foot of roadway.
Regardless, I mean, if they, if they don't fall within the subdivision requirements, then it's, like I said, once every 12 months, they can cut out a section.
I thought you said a while ago that once they create the 3rd track, it's a subdivision.
Within 12 months.
You left out the 12-month part. So they, over 3 years, they could do one every year.
But if they create 3, like he's doing here, additional tracks, 3 of them at once, yeah, that triggers the subdivision.
I'd like to see when you bring these plats in front of us, like for mine, an example, I'd like to see when it was he did the last.
This is his original. He had any proposals at all, just all property, one split from that.
But I mean, if you bring one here who last year did one, and now this year they're doing another one, we would like to know that.
Okay, yeah, but that's what, I mean, that's the difference in these two applications. Replat means established subdivision. That's what that means. It's already been approved through the Commissioners Court. And the subdivision application itself means it has not ever been approved through the Commissioners Court. I mean, you know, it should give us an indication if it's been approved or not. If it's replat.
So the only thing that they're avoiding by doing it over time versus doing it all at once is deed restrictions.
Not necessarily, it's triggering subdivision regulations, deed restrictions or a civil agreement between the seller and the buyer. And not part of the subdivision regulations at all. The subdivision regulations don't require deed restrictions. That's only between the seller and the buyer.
Any other questions?
I'm just not understanding what they're actually avoiding by doing it over time versus doing it all at once.
Not requiring themselves to do it as a subdivision, as a survey. They can report it on needs and bounds. Not have to hire a surveyor to go out there and survey the whole property
But they can only do one every
12 months.
12 months.
It's still, regardless, it still has to be 1 acre. 1 acre minimum. Subdivision, I mean, the septic system regulations.
Okay. Number 19 is consideration of approving a final plat of Rose Meadows for Matt Schroeder.
This one, we think for.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a 15.39 acre tract that, Mr. Schroeder purchased. He's creating, I believe we've got 6 tracts out of that, all of which are gonna be above the 1 acre minimum. And meets the subdivision regulations and requirements for the state and the local. And it's 1 acre. 1 acre plus on all of them. That makes the septic system regulations also. Letter from utility companies over here. And I have that there for all that. And he's asking Commissioner Court this morning to his, so there's no roads or anything created.
So it meets the 1 acre and the 100 feet frontage
Yes,
on all of them.
and like I said, he didn't create any kind of easement roads.
So like on this one, he's doing these all at one time.
Right.
But if he wants to come back next year and take this 4 acre tract and divide it in half, he can.
No,
Don't have one under
see
it.
that one right there before the road shows 100 feet frontage.
So each lot has to have 100 feet of frontage?
Yes.
Gotta have something like that.
Frontage or at the end of the cul-de-sac, then they have to have 50-foot frontage.
Sorry, James. I'm just
No,
trying, I'm just trying to understand.
No,
it
that's
better.
okay. That's okay. Are you through, Jason? I'll make a motion. We approve the final plat of Rose Meadow for Matt Schroeder.
Motion made by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Stanley. Number 20 is consideration of approving the purchase request for Texoma Ida with Office Boy for $99,420.03. Barry?
This is for moving all the furniture from the existing facility to the facility.
Terry, I've got a question on this. What kind of entity is it considered? In other words, should they be paying tax?
No, they do not need to be paid because they're a federal.
Okay, well, it's on here.
Yes, I realize that this is just so that you can see that the purchase order and so forth and so on.
So we'll back that nine
The
thirty-eight ninety
900, yes,
out of this 99,000.
yes. Natalie had let Steve know that she noticed that, but this is the copy that we have for y'all.
Good, Natalie. Thank you.
Okay. No more discussion on this. We need a motion, please.
I move that we approve a purchase request for Texoma Hida with office boy for $99,420.03.
Second.
Mr. Perry. Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Moore, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 21, consideration of approving to pay bills for sheriff without a purchase order on August 8th of 2022. Need a motion, gentlemen.
I'll make a motion to approve the pay bills for the sheriff without purchase order on August 8th, 2022.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Perry, seconded by Commissioner Olson. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 22 is consideration of approving to pay bills for precinct 1 without purchase order on August 8th. 2022.
I make a motion that we approve to pay bills for precinct 1 without purchase order on August 8th, 2022. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 23 is budget workshop. Can't wait.
Yeah.
He's still not up.
Well, overall, we got through, to this point pretty quick. Even our, what all we had to do.
Do we need to try and stand this stuff?
Yeah.
Pick that up later.
Either way, we'll be here to lunch anyway, probably, I'm guessing at this point. Recess till 2 on tomorrow.
We'll sign it now or later.
Y'all want.
I'm breaking while y'all sign.
I'm gonna watch for this check, all these checks that landlord brought me. I figure out where to spend it on.
They're not made out of HM.
They weren't. They weren't.
Yes. They're made up, I think, of one side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Circle.
Gentlemen, take care. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, come by again. All right.
Ron, I'll see you later, man.
All right. Good, Ron. Good to see you.
Okay. Please.
I'm with you on that. They're killing me all over.
I had one this morning, it's 202 acres.
Here's the deal. At what point do we restrictions
I'm sorry.
at what point do we not require deed restrictions?
We
We
can't.
can't.
Two platter
Yeah.
or 20 platter?
We can't
The
require.
county can't.
That was my question was gonna be.
Yeah.
We can only suggest it, right?
Yeah, I would suggest them, whenever, all of them, but it's like, if they don't want to, they don't have to. I hate to say it, that's.
We don't have to sign it.
I didn't put a 22 on the end of that. Whatever it is for the day.
I'll catch them.
You fix it.
No. I mean, but what's your reason gonna be?
That's
Well, I'm talking about when they're doing it this way and avoiding them.
Right.
What's your reason going to?
But you can't, from a county standpoint, you can't tell somebody. that they-
Jim Metcalf wearing me out on, I was like, I can't stop. I just, Jim Metcalf.
Chat to them, Marty.
And I don't blame him, I mean, they're just creating more and more and more and more.
It's like this Bitcoin thing.
Yeah.
He owns something.
They'll get you.
When they do this.
Find out. You got any more? Just keep them rolling. The other day, Joe, right there.
Oh, you got me ready for any of them?
Yes, sir. Yeah. They just keep rolling in, Joe.
What JP's over Highway 31 out there? by Tom's? Tom's? Four? That's Waller. Tom's Peanut? No fish comes in, Tom's Food, and St. Boat on Highway 31.
He's got time. Probably not yours.
Precinct 3 and precinct 4 need to sign this one. 3 and 4. Yep, there you go.
And he needs to do this one.
All of them, please. I got a couple of them here. Hey. Yes, sir, please.
We did require deed restrictions and he came back.
Right. He was doing it to be compliant with the request.
Well, that's what I said. Can't
Yeah,
we
you can
this?
request it. And
That's my. I get tired of looking at third world country.
it needs, they all really need deed restrictions. This one on. That one. This one, yeah, there's one of them right here.
Maybe you need to get us a recommendation on some deed restrictions on these plans. Well, do we need to approve that as if that's our restriction? Okay, see, if we can- I don't think I signed one of these, the one that. Find out. So if we can,
That was my point.
It's on discussion.
I'll check it here and make sure before we.
I think that's all.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Keeping everybody in line, so to speak. We are in budget session and I'm going to just verbally report to you guys what the results were in the grievance committee that we had this morning. The reason she and I were late getting here. And that is, there were 6 votes for $45,350 raise. Okay, now what that means, if y'all haven't read it, I'll read it directly. If after the hearing, 6 or more of the members vote to recommend an increase in the officer's salary or personal expenses, the committee shall submit its recommendation to the Commissioner's Court in writing. That's something I still have to prepare. If 6 to 8 members vote to recommend an increase, the Commissioner's Court shall consider the recommendation at its next meeting. If 9 members vote to recommend the increase and sign the recommendation, the Commissioners Court shall include the increase in the budget before the budget is filed and the increase takes effect in the next budget year. Well, there's only 6 who agreed that it should be considered. And so we have to consider that. Okay, makes sense? Now, we don't have to do it right this minute, still, see what our levels are gonna be, what our money is gonna be that we got coming in. I think we're supposed to get those numbers today. Is that correct, Gary?
Yes,
And so we can do that, but I just wanted to report on it to you guys, what the status was. Now, otherwise, Terry, what else do you have for us today at this point? I mean, if we're still waiting on that
well,
to come in, we just don't have it yet.
I did not realize it was not on the agenda this morning. For the numbers are set. So what I gave you last week are good. So if you look at your budget numbers, I gave you one for the no new revenue rate, and the no new revenue rate is at 0.4955. And the voters' approval rate is at 0.5173. And the set of documents that I gave you, I have updated all the revenues to reflect the voter approval rate. So what you're looking at right now with what we have in total expenditures of $28,030,315 with no increases.
Will you say that again? I was getting my stuff.
All I said was the voter, I've updated everything to the voter approval rate, which is 0.5173.
Okay.
And in your documents that I gave you today, dated 8/8, total receipts are $26,749,367. And you can go in and take a look at your line by lines of your revenues and so forth and so on of what I've given you on this updated copy, so you can see. And I also did it for road and bridge, flood control, and for debt, so you have just all of those. Also on this sheet right here, on this proposed sheet that we're all just looking at right now, okay? So right now, you're looking at a deficit of 1.2. Do you see that?
1.28.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. That's without any increases.
Without any increases to,
Anything. Nothing, just, I've updated the revenues, and that's basically about it, and everything that we had in our budget as of Friday. I have not changed any expenditures in the budget. Okay. Since Friday. The next line you'll see, that's what it would be if you did a salaries increase at the 2,500 rate. So then that would put your deficit at 1.9. If you, that's for general fund alone. If you go to the 3,500 across the board, that's that next line, and your total deficit will be 2.2. Okay? That's not in consideration of using your fund balance. That's just strictly with revenues and expenditures.
So you said this is with no
No
increase,
increase.
right? But does this include the additional personnel,
There's only 2 additional personnel. Everything that we
Which
discussed
was
Friday,
which
The
was the
assistant in my office, and then AGM's court reporter, and that's it.
and no travel allowance increase?
Yes, that includes your already travel allowance increases.
So it includes everything other than raises.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything that we discussed up until Friday.
Okay.
As of to date, we have received total revenue of $26,621,944. We have total expenses as of to date, $20,334,773. So we have an overage of $6.2 million right now.
To carry us through October 1st or September 30th.
That's correct.
So we've got 54 days left in this budget cycle. How much a day are we spending? I know that's a trick question.
That is a trick question.
But give us a quick answer.
So, well, look at your bills that you just approved. That'll tell you.
Do that right quick, okay?
Yeah,
Total general fund alone. Was 185,000. Our total expenditures for this bill run was 526,000.
How much did our insurance go up this last time?
$36. Well, let me see if I can.
Did we get, we got all of our final numbers from the city?
Mhm.
That's what we had the other day.
Teresa, what was our deficit like now that we went in this year?
Do what now?
Our deficit that we started with this year.
Oh, from last year?
Uh-huh.
Okay, hang on, I'll tell you. $1.4.
I'm sorry.
1.4. That was general fund alone. For all funds, it was 2.6.
Okay. I thought it was- I'm sorry. I thought it was 2 point something.
It's 2.6 for all funds last year.
So you would add up these two, you would add up the deficit under general fund and deficit under road and bridge to get the full
All funds across the board. yes.
for this year.
Yeah, debt, yeah. Well, since we're looking at a deficit here, I'd like to see us see what, and it's a math question. What going to 1,500 on the salary increase instead of 2,500 would be. You know, like I said, that's just a math question. And keeping the 35 on the law enforcement and dropping the 25 down to 1,500.
Keeping law enforcement at 2,500?
No, keep it at 35. Because that's what it is now, isn't it?
No, it's 20, it's either 25 or 35 across. the board.
Across the board.
No. So you're saying everybody's the same? Because we had it, last year we did it different, we separated them, and I thought we'd been talking about that this time.
So the difference across the board between the 25 and the 35 is 278,000.
Yeah, just multiply times the number of people, just about. I mean, because the law enforcement is where we're down on employees, on high, you know, being able to hire people. Open as far as vacancies. I think any other position here in the courthouse, we could have lines waiting if somebody is either retires or let go, or quits for some reason. I think there'd be a line waiting for that position.
While we're waiting on that, got something here I need to read you guys. An email from another judge in the what you call it, listserv. This judge says that his county totally funds the EMS to the tune of $742,576 for the next year. We have 6 full-time staff paramedics. We use a lot of part-time help also. The full-time employees work a 48-hour shift with several days off after that. They automatically receive 416 hours a year of overtime, but they get more. Average salary is $22.15 an hour. They have 2 ambulances, one new one bought with ARPA funds, and a fully equipped SUV. They have a nice building with a big screen TV, 2 big recliners, and sleeping quarters. He says his road and bridge guys don't get this. Now, will y'all provide that for your road and bridge guys?
Not quite.
That's what I thought. We can't hire staff because we don't have housing here. It's small county, population at least. The county funds the EMS with a 0.01 sales tax that we put in several years ago with collection. So they must be doing pretty good if they can get that kind of money. The city does not contribute 1 dime to the EMS, although 80% or more of the calls are in town. They do a good job, but most of their calls do not require transport, and we use the helicopter service quite often. With an older population, we get lots of calls for lift assist, high blood pressure, stomach aches, etc. That people utilize the EMS instead of going to the doctor or clinic. We don't charge for just house calls. It really is an expensive part of our budget, but it's what the public wants us to provide. Thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Small county, but still.
Chunk of money.
$750,000.
Mm-hmm. Terry, did I ask my question clear enough a while ago?
Which one?
The one about figuring 3,500 across the board for law enforcement and 1,500 across the board for other employees. That's what I meant to say. I don't know. How I ended up saying.
So in other words, you don't know what you're talking about, right?
Well, I just didn't know how to say what I'm talking about, Jim. That was
I
on
had
the
to say that.
heels of a deficit, and so
Understand.
In asking Morris, did you hear us ask Morris the other day what we could do to help beneficial? He said the pay was fine. They just can't get any applicants to pass the psychological or the drug test.
Yeah.
So, that's still gonna be $595,000 for the sheriff. It'll be $162,450 for the general fund. For all other employees, so you're looking at a total of $757,450 for just the general fund alone. For road and bridge, that would be $63,175. At $1,500, which is basically 0.72 cents per hour increase.
I don't know that anybody will ever get their numbers back up in any form of law enforcement. It's just, you can pay them $100,000 a year and they're not gonna come. Not till we quit attacking them on the media, through the media and everything else. Since nobody wants to do it anymore. I wouldn't do it anymore. I would be a fireman.
Okay, I got one for you, Terry.
Mhm.
What if you do bring the constables up to where they want, and then everybody 2,500?
Well, all you're talking about on the constables to bring them up is 51,480. If it was agreed to be 45,350 across the board.
Okay.
But you're looking at, it's an addition of $51,480.
Well, then I can take the other two, okay.
No, it's already figured at 2,500.
The general fund increases at 808,000. Like the sheriff's department at a $3,500 increase and everybody else at only 1,500. And then you add the addition again for the constables at 51.
Yep.
51,480 is the total cost addition
For the constables.
For the-
Okay,
for 4 constables. So that would put the general fund at 213,930 plus the 595,000 for the sheriff's department, which gives you a total of $808 and $808,930.
and that's 3,500 for the sheriff's department?
Mhm.
What if we went 2,500 for everybody? Sheriff's department and everyone else?
Then you're looking at
696, right?
866,066 plus the 51
No,
and the 51,480 in there. $917,546 for general fund. Don't forget, you've got to add in your fringes, your benefits.
Sure, yeah.
That's the extra.
yeah.
So with that raise and the other would be right at a 2 million.
Deficit.
Mhm. I think that's what I could understand.
My math was right. I'm not saying it was.
It would put you at a 2.1.
That's with $2,500 raise across the board. And
$3,500 and the constables.
that was with 35.
35 for the sheriffs, I mean, all of law enforcement, the
Yes,
sheriff's
yes,
department.
yes, yes.
25 for everybody else in the general fund, and then in addition from the constables. That would put you at a deficit of 2.
And I know I'm one vote, but I'm for 1,500 across the board for all employees. I think except for law enforcement.
I mean, I'm just going by what Morris said the other day, that they were fairly paid. I mean, what about just 25 for everybody?
If you wanted to do 25 for everybody, it would be 696.
Yeah.
Plus whatever the constables are in,
It's
so
on the own.
5140.
About 25 and 15. I mean, we've got a deficit here, we're budgeting a deficit.
Have a deficit whether we like it or not.
Well,
How big?
but we need to help it some.
I mean, I'd like to keep everybody, law enforcement and everyone else the same myself.
Well, I was having a conversation with my court coordinator today. We were talking about expenses overall for all of us and, what's occurring. And I was telling her that, it's great that gasoline's come down, but gasoline's still really high. And she was telling me about, I believe it's somewhere in Missouri, maybe where it was $8 and something a gallon. These oil companies are having more fun, making more money. Their stockholders ought to be tickled to death.
It's the retailers. Because I've seen it from 333 to 469.
Mhm.
Thank you, Green Energy.
Yeah.
They're the reason why.
But if you have a captive audience and you're the only station in town, you charge what you want.
That's right.
Okay, and the profit margin for that individual retailer is up. It's not the cost of their purchase of the product. Okay, the freight, the freight plays a big bill, just like hay is right now. $3.50 a mile
Crazy.
from Kansas for the same product that's closer. But still, you can't tell me that Childress, Texas is 333 and Southport, Colorado is 469, and the freight is no different. Neither one of those two places are close to anything. But why is there $1.50 difference in the gallon?
And gasoline is not the same. We went to Oklahoma and I filled up for 252, and I went from 19 miles a gallon to 7.
Yes,
Yeah.
Real.
that's what the formula.
That's what they put in it.
I don't know.
It's
Look out.
It's at, ethanol.
Mm, 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 mm. You think the doctor did that? Ethanol,
Mhm.
put more in it.
Who's to say they don't drop the 85 in a regular tank? True, true. Decaffeinated coffee, regular, which, would you know it? Would you know it? It's the same deal. We just have to trust the marketers and the retailers.
Well, I'm gonna say
Which
we're
I'm
making,
having,
making record profits right now.
I'm having trust issues with everything right now.
If your profit margin is the same,
But it affects everybody that works here, and regardless of what they're doing to us, we have to play by their rules. And so
what is the latest on the cost of living? That's up, inflation rates some ungodly amount of money right now, which everybody's getting a piece of that action.
12 or 15%.
Mhm. So, I mean, you're looking at trying to help out folks in as much as we can. Yeah, my gas bill, I'm sure y'all the same way, it's like twice what it was a year ago and more. Okay, it's 11:45. Anything else y'all want to quickly discuss between now and noon, or just go ahead and break until tomorrow afternoon? I think it'd be a good idea.
I would like to see just a little bit clearer picture on what we just discussed today as far as the raises, the different scenarios, so we could kind of compare the deficit numbers a little bit better.
Terry, can you do that and print out something where we've got some actual comparisons?
I'm
to-
sorry, Terry.
Tell me what you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, and we have to jump around, or having jumped around a little bit, trying to figure out a way to do it.
Okay, scenario number one, how do y'all want it?
Well,
1500.
Well, you have scenario number one, I guess, could be 2,500.
For everybody,
And then you have
without
scenario,
the constables.
and then you have scenario number two is 3,500.
That's correct.
So then a couple of more that we suggested today.
I would like number three at 1,500 for all employees except law enforcement. And then,
What do you want long?
law enforcement, I want you to figure at 25 and 35, which we've already got that. I mean, you got that figure, but I'd like that with the 1,500 across the board.
And the constable's number is 51480 regardless to whatever.
51,480. All four.
Mhm.
That's the addition.
Now, what's the starting salary for a jailer?
45,350.
And what's the starting salary for, what's the salary for a patrolman, a new patrolman is?
There's $1,500 difference, if I may, from detention, which is, I think it's 43,850 for a DO, and 45,350 for first aid deputy. About $1,600 difference from the jail to the streets for a first aid.
Starting
Jail
patrol
is
deputy.
45,350.
I'm sorry, what?
The jail is 45,350 after their probationary period of 1 year.
Okay.
And then on the sheriff's deputy, starting out, 42,350. Yeah, 42,350.
for a deputy on the street.
Mhm.
So your constable would make $10,000 more. That includes benefits?
No, that's just base salary. That's not
So
including
what's,
benefits.
and what would the constable's base salary be?
Constable's base salary would be the 45,350 if I am correct.
45,350, and the jailer's what?
And a jailer is.
I'm sorry,
45.
not the jailer, the guy on the street.
The
That's
53, 52,350.
If I can interject, what she's talking about is once they're off probation, we're requesting the pay before they even get off probation, which is a couple $1,000s even less than once they make, it's before they make deputy one pay.
I'm asking because I don't want a sheriff over here tomorrow with, hey, I got all these guys on the street and you're paying the constables more than them.
No, sir.
I'm just trying to
No.
think.
If
I can show you the salary schedule if you want to see it.
No, I just want to, I'm just asking. Because every time we think of one office and do for one office, we got to think about what all them other ones gonna come over here and go
Yes, sir.
afterwards. 'Cause
Yes,
that's
sir.
what happens. Y'all say what y'all want when y'all are in here, and then when y'all leave, a whole new bunch comes in here and say what they want to, and they all got good arguments. Ours does this and they don't do this and ours does, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm not forgetting something. I want to fix one headache here and create another one somewhere else. That's it.
Okay. Let's take one lunch break. Well, we'll do a recess until 2 tomorrow. Correct? Or do y'all want to come back this afternoon?
That's fine.
All right. Motion to recess, please.
I make a motion that we recess until 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grant, seconded by Commissioner Perry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We stand in recess. Running down. Running down. Couple off the pen.
Oh, the sign? Yeah, okay.
There it is.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wasn't that fun? Always fun.
Got lunch plans? Anybody?
I don't.
Go to lunch?
I do.
Shoot, yeah. Let's go
Yeah,
somewhere
hopefully to eat.
good.
Food, cooked preferably.
Cooked food?
I don't, I'll go with you.
Okay, where y'all want to go?
Where they cook food.
Well, they cook food at several places.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
I'm not